Well, first, let me introduce to you. So my name is Jefferson Miller de Nascimento. So I work as a Java developer for almost 12 years, 12 to 13 years. So mainly for the Java developer, right? So and also me working as a Angular developer for like almost 5 years right now. So here at AvenueCode, I'm working just as a Java developer, but on my last company, I was working also as a full stack developer. It was, I guess, like 1 year ago. I may probably I have like 9 months here on AvenueCode. So let's start. So what's Cypress? Cypress is a front-end testing tool. So it was building just for the modern web browser. So after you were using a lot of Selenium for doing this end-to-end testing, right? So someone just thinking about creating a tool that would be easier to create some end-to-end testing. So this was when they created Cypress, and it's a free open source. Open source. It was MIT. MIT MIT source. Don't remember the name, but it's easy to use because it's a locally installed application, right? So you don't need to mock some others data or some other service. You can just run it local. So with Cypress, we can just write tests faster and easier than before or when we are using Selenium, right? So I'm just comparing with Selenium, especially because Selenium was the most used one. So Cypress comes to be a easier one than Selenium, right? So and it's easier also to use the TDD, the test-driven development. So if you want to just starting using the TDD, you can just write first your tests, and after you can start to, to doing the code itself. So and Cypress, I guess it's the one of the most famous words of that. That Cypress you can test anything that runs in a browser, right? So and who can use Cypress? So Cypress is designed for developers, right? So first for developers because of TDD, right? So and after also for the key engineers that have a lot of stuff to do on that. And Cypress has a lot of features, right? So I will just show you some of the features here. With Cypress, you can see exactly what happened at each step. So it was something that was harder before on Selenium, and on the Cypress, we can see for each and every step what's happening. So if it's clicking, if it's getting. So and also it's possible to debug from tools. From any tools, like if you use debug from local or for IntelliJ, for Visual Studio Code, or you can also debug from Chrome or Firefox developer tools. So Cypress also automatically waits for use the waits for commands and assertions. So you don't need to do some mock and create some timers for just waiting for the browser to load or just some to do some assertion. So it automatically will retry with your it just trying to get your response, right? So it has a timeout by default for 4 seconds. So and it's as a normal end-to-end, so it can spy stubs and clocks. So it has a lot of the same functionality from the unit testing. So if you already use it like Karma or Jasmine, so it has a very similar way of coding, right? So and using also. So here more features, and also it's very easy to control the network traffic. So you can disturb your network platform calls to the backend, or you can also use it without stubbing. You can call the backend itself. It's very easy to use. I will show you after. And also a very good functionality that I used a lot was the screenshots and videos, especially because if you run it from CI pipeline, so you can just uh, make it create a screenshot for when it fail or when it create a error, or you can just enable videos for that, so it will create a video for all the steps that it's doing. And it's a cross browser, so it runs right now on Chrome, Firefox, Edge, and Electron. It's not enabled yet for Safari, but probably we'll do some after. And or you can just run it via CI pipeline, so it's very easy to use. If I'm not wrong, the pipeline uses by default the Electron, but you can just change it to Chrome, right? So let me go to next one. Okay, I will show now right now some technical parts, right? So let's show how to use Cypress. The first thing that you need to do, if you just have like a Angular project or a JavaScript project, you can just install Cypress. So you just need to run the npm install Cypress. So you don't need to uh, configure or create or install any server or any driver or any other dependency. You just need to install Cypress that you are ready to use. So here, I just showing what I did. I created a default project, so a very simple project. So I just did the install for Cypress. So I'm using right now Cypress 12. So it's fast, right? So it's just download it and install the Cypress itself. So it already creates some schematic for that. So you don't need to be worried about how to configure it on that. So, and the next one is how to run Cypress. So after the install, you have two commands by default. One is that is Cypress open, that will show everything that's running on Cypress or the end-to-end test or component testing, or you can just use the Cypress run. That is like a command for the pipe, probably for the pipeline, but you can also use it local. So let me show you using Cypress, right? So here I created a simple project of using Angular for the front end and Java for the back end. So I'm already running Java 1, okay, and also the first thing that you need to do after install, you need to be running your project, right? So here is my project. Let me refresh, make sure. Okay, here's my project. So I just created a project that is a CRUD that we have some course that listing here. So what I will do is just show it running, right? So I just need to do the Cypress opening. Okay, so first, let me just create after I did the Cypress install, it just created some Cypress configuration files. So it's a very simple file for config, right? So it has some configs by default. I just changed the base URL and some width and weights and aids. So it has video created by default. I will show after, but right now I'm using false just to be faster. And it has a screenshot run fader through here. So let's just run the Cypress open. Mhm. As you can see, it's very easy to use because I just stated it before on the Angular project. So and just run the command Cypress open. So it starts right here, showing me the. Let me just make it bigger. So We're just showing the welcome Cypress. So I will show more here about the end-to-end testing, but we can also use the component testing. Like if you have just a simple component like for searching some entities or some users, you can just use to test this component. But I will try to show more about the end-to-end. So here, I will just have to pick a browser, right? So here, by default, it's using Chrome right now, but if I had installed Firefox or Edge here, it would show here. So let me just pick Chrome, that's the most used one, and starting end-to-end testing. Here I have a lot of end-to-end specs that I just created to use in this scaffold example here, but I want to show you first a specific test for my projects, right? So here I just create a new test, spec test. I would just use the default name here, spec. So, okay. Mhm. Okay, it's just created a simple test here. Let me see where it's created. Here. So I think let's just right here, courses. Yes, the open course list, right? So the first thing that it needs to do is just visit the page. So I will just put it to visit my local host page, like 402. So HTTP. Okay. Oops. Okay. Oh, here after save, so it's already running, right? So here on the back is my project. So here is the the Cypress running. So it's very simple, right? So you just loading the page, right? So and I can create more specific test like I dot things. I can create like a contains that make sure that the page contains some values, right? So I can make sure it's available course. Available course. Just it will just verify that my page after that I visited it has a label with available course. It will search on all the page, right? So it don't have a specific place to verify. It should, oops, it should just verify everything here. Okay. And the good thing here is that is very similar to a JavaScript project or an Angular project that it does the live reload. So I just saved the test here. So we just update here. So what it will do is just run the test, right? So it will visit the page here. It will check if it contains a label with available course. So as you can see, it found here. Let me just ping here. And just after it's just getting a list, but it's not part of my test yet. So okay, it was a test. So here I can, as you can see, it's loading from the backend itself, right? So it's exactly the same as I was using on the my project itself, but I can also like intercept this code, right? So I can intercept this call to the backend. So instead of just using the call directly, I can stop this call. So let me just do that. Intercept it just get here. Let me just check here. Okay, maybe it's better to show you what it's doing because I can just look in here. I load the page, I can see on the network that it's loading the course, right? So here just I will need to do, I just need to intercept this call here. So we just intercept this get call here. Get, okay, we just intercept. And here I will need to provide a response body that I want to use. So here, I already created before a course JSON. Here, I just need to provide it at the response. So provide course from, let me see here, Cypress. Course JSON. So here, I'm just intercepting this call here to the backend. So instead of just calling the backend, I'm just providing as a response this, I am mocking as a response to this course JSON here. So I'm just mocking the data here. So as you can see right now, so it's not using my call anymore to the backend. So it's just using a mocked data that I provided, right? So, and let's continue the test. I can create more tests about that. So let me just do here. One thing that we need to remember that is that for every single test that we're creating, like here, I'm creating the it test. So I just need to do it again. So instead of just doing it every time, right? So instead of just doing here, let me just open here. Instead of just doing every time in the intercept in the visit, I can just create data before each. So already use it like Karma or Jasmine before it. You can see that it will be very similar to that. So I just put the intercept and visit here. So I don't need to intercept and visit here anymore. And also here. So I can do the same check here. Just the name here of what it's inspecting. It should see. Oh, okay. It is running here, the first one, and here I'm creating the next one, the next test. So here on the next test, I can create like a text tests for the add button, right? So as you can see here on my project, I have a add button to add some course. So if I click here, it will open another page, right? So what I can do is just first get this button. So as you can see, this button here, I have opened the code here. It's the course list. As you can see, I will have the buttons here. I will have the delete button and edit button and add button. Oops, where's the add? Here, add button. So I just need to create some ID for that. So I could just get the button class itself, but when they calling this kind of thing of click or input values, so I can just use the ID that would be easier. So I just need to get the add button here. So I just get the add button here. I just will need to get the add button here, and I can do I can do a lot of things with this add button. But what I want to do here is just click on that. So show you. So if I show it here, it will just checking here, trying to get the add button here. It's very easy. So it's get add button, and after it's clicking on the add button, is loading the next page, right? So and continuing with this test, I can just make it maybe check for other thing here instead of instead of this one, I can check for course details, maybe. So it's another label that's on the next page, right? So just make sure that I'm on the right page. So it will be checking for the course details here. Mhm. So after I open this page, I just need to type some values here to save or to cancel. So first one, I can just make sure that that cancel is working. So here I just show open so new and cancel, right? So we just cancel here. So it will do the same like before. So I will just get the cancel button that I can check here the name of the cancel button. Okay, where's the cancel button? Add the button. Okay, here. Yes. I'm not wrong, it's just cancel button. So, using the hash value here and just clicking on the button, right? So just do the same here. So here it's clicking on the cancel button, it just returning to the available course, right? So it just returning to the original page. So I just can check it here that it's working fine. So I mean, I also can create like a test that is really saving some values, right? So it was a more useful test, right? So should you open and save, right? So open new and save here. So if you click on the add button, contains the course details to to verify. So and you to also click on the save button. So if I try to show you here, it will fail because it needs to use some values, right? So when I click the the button save, so it will just getting a 400 error. So if I can see here the request and response, so it's just getting error here. So what I need to do is just to include the values for the fields, right? So I just can get the type fields. It is name here. Let me show here. If I'm not wrong, it's name ID name. Okay, it's name. I will just input the name here. Okay, I get name here, and as it's an input value, I can just type on that. So I will just type some text. So let me just type here like Java, maybe Java 6, something like that. So here I will show you it's typing the Java. So it's type on the name of the field, right? So if I show you, it's just typing here. Okay, it's just looking like it's just refreshing all the time. And let me just open again. So here I will just type on the name for the field, and I also need to pick a value from the select fields, right? So it is a trickier one. So let me just show you. It will just open, it's typing for Java 6, and you pick a category. So to click to put a category, it just need to get the field, right? So you just can get the field, it's math input, if I'm not wrong, math select. Just math select, and it will just get the first one, I guess. Not click. So just getting the first one. So it's just the first category. So as Java 6 is the second category, I will just click on the second one. That is, let me paste here. It is just math option. That's the class for that. So just click on the math option. So here I can show you that it's getting selecting the the backend. That's the value, right? So it's clicking and adding. So it's just saving, right? So if I show here to you here on my project itself, right, you can see that it was really adding the value. So it's really adding to the backend because I didn't mock any data or didn't stub anything, right? So it's really calling the backend API. So, but on my tests, if you take a look here, it is just using the same values as I already mocked the data. So, and the next thing is here is about the Cypress run, right? So let me try to show you because I have almost no time. So it's Cypress run is used for the pipeline, right? So it will just show a lot of tests here. So because I already created the scaffold tests here, so it should just be running like that on the pipeline, right? So it's very easy and interactive to understand what's happening here. And another thing is about the screenshots that I talked before. So when it fails, like if it's like something like that, it fail on my test, you can see that they will be creating some screenshots, right? So let me just show you. It just run this one. Okay, it's running right now, so it will fail. So it, as you can see, it was a timeout for 4 seconds. So because it keeps trying, right? So you just fail here, and as you can see, it will create a screenshot on the here. Let me just wait. Just needs to. Oops. Okay, I guess it's only on this on the Cypress run. But I guess that's it.